Okay, this is a very different setup. I don't even know if this is safe. But we're gonna try and do it anyway. What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Definitely a different setup. I am currently driving back home from work and I'm kind of beat, but I just thought I would put up this video because the last video I was trying to put up, there was just a lot of errors. I don't know why it was just taking a while to export, but I figured I would address my previous video. First of all, thank you so much for all the DMs and the comments and basically saying how you're in the same position as I am, or at least you can relate to the video. I mean, and whoa, I don't know where I'm going. Shoot. Yeah, it was nice to hear some of your stories, to hear how you like overcame it. I'm just glad that I could share something or a part of my journey that you guys could relate to. And really that's the whole point of the channel. Even just me getting back, like I feel like I just want to share more real life shit, you know, like everything is not all Instagram feeds and pretty pictures and everything. It's just like stuff happens, and really, especially now, I got a message from someone who said that this is just the beginning. Everything is going to be based on how you feel, intuition, and just all of that. And I know some of you guys voiced that you want to hear a little bit of more career stuff, and I'm definitely down to share. You guys, when I wasn't on YouTube and all that stuff, I was reading so much about how people quit, or like what are the steps to take, or just basically like what are the things you must do before like making such a risky decision like that. So I thought I would share my experience and just some of the things that actually helped me. It's really amazing that a lot of you, I didn't expect that a lot of you were going through it, and some of you actually made the plunge and did it, but then some of you are still kind of like, I don't know, it might be risky, because at the end of the day, you know, it's a risk. It might be where the situation will pan out. I wouldn't say badly, because I don't think any situation is necessarily bad. Like it may be not what you expected from it, but then something good is gonna come out of it later. Maybe not immediately, but later, right? Just gonna get into some of the steps that I had to take in order to make sure that like I was gonna be quote unquote okay or fine. Like I really did genuinely believe that everything would work out, despite being told you're being crazy. Like you need to find a job first before you quit. Like everyone has to do that, like that's standard, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of pressure, but there were just a few things I was looking at that made me feel a little bit more secure in my decision. Not really like a risky person. I am to some degree, I guess, but I do have to look at like several things first. I get scared very easily, so I had to look at certain things. So one of the things that I had to look at was my industry in general, and just the demand of what skills that I have and how easy it is for me to find the next kind of like gig. And maybe you're the type of person who has several skills. So for example, I just left college like a year ago, so I wouldn't say I necessarily established like a solid career path. Like I felt like I was in a good place where, and sorry if the audio is weird, but I felt like I was in a good place where I could easily transition out of my role and go into something else. I wasn't too deep into my career where it would have been weird to like kind of transition. Basically that made everything a little bit broader, so I could genuinely apply for a lot more things, right? Stuff. So that's one thing I looked at. I made another thing I did was have alerts for jobs, basically with the keywords that I wanted, whether it was marketing or social media or producing or whatever it is that I think I'm interested in and I believe that I have the skills for. I kind of like made keywords and made sure that like all these sites send me alerts whenever a job with that keyword kind of popped up. If you're in Kenya, I don't know if this applies because I don't know how Kenyans find jobs. I feel like it's a lot of word of mouth, and you know, connections and just networking is most of the ways that people can find jobs. But like in the States, I didn't have any of that. Most of it was more looking on job sites. Some of the ones I used were Glassdoor. Glassdoor is really good because it actually gives you ratings of the company that you want to work for, and you can see how much money or revenue they make or how much your salary could be. So that's a site that I really enjoyed. If I had to pick two that were really solid, I would say LinkedIn and Glassdoor. Find jobs, and Google as well. So yeah, basically what I did was just set up a notification system where I would find alerts of job openings, because I don't know if you guys know this, but like to me, and maybe I have a better video to structure this because I'm really just throwing everything at you. Basically, it's important that you understand that these people who are sifting through resumes are real people. So by the time they see your the 100th or 50th resume, you might be like the best candidate for the job, but just because they've seen so many people, they might just cut you off, right? So it's really important that you actually are one of the first people that applies, because if you really think about a person doing their job, like it's just gonna start getting tedious, and by the time they reach like 50, it's just not you're just not gonna care as much. So they're not gonna really look for at least in my experience, I just learned that if you apply quicker, you have more of a chance of getting a response. Of course, just applying for jobs like every single day. Another thing that was really important to me was, and this is a really great lesson I learned early, is that you're not only just being interviewed, but you're also interviewing the employer. So if you're spending almost maybe 8 to 10 hours in a place, you want to make sure that you're comfortable, you feel like you can speak your mind, or not speak your mind, you feel like you're comfortable enough to be yourself. If you feel uncomfortable and on edge for 40 hours a week, that is so much energy you're putting into the wrong thing. So I equally think it's important that, yes, sure, you want a job, you want money, you need to be stable, especially when you're young. But another thing that's important is that you are also making sure that you're fitting into the company culture, and you feel like the job that you're going to do is something that you can sustain in the long run, something that you won't necessarily get bored by. It's a very impromptu video, you guys. I never even came up with points, but I'm just kind of like going back to the steps that I took. So when I did get like a few interviews, I was asking as many questions as I could, because I know that I was still a little bit like scared, because like I said, I don't want to be in the same position again. So I knew that whatever the next job was going to be, I needed to stick with it for at least like a year and a half or 2 years, or just depending on the situation. But that was the goal. Summarize, it's just about making sure that your field or your industry is in demand, because if it's not, it'll just take you a little bit harder to find a job. Making sure that you can easily switch without it being weird. In general, just making sure that you can easily switch your the skills that you've learned, into another role. Yeah, so, and then on top of that, doing a lot of research on the company and just making sure that you're interviewing them as well, not just vice versa, and like you're desperate, because yeah, that just won't end well. Pausing this video because I left a very crucial point, and that is obviously finances. Like, how much, obviously should you have saved? I genuinely feel like that depends on the situation. For me, I made sure that I had at least like 4 to 5 months of money saved so that I could pay my bills and all that stuff for the next like 4 to 5 months, because I knew that I was in a situation where my visa required me to find something in the next 3 months. I kind of made that like my benchmark, but obviously it depends on your situation. If you have kids or you have like really big commitments, I would consider just saving more. It really just depends on the situation, but definitely I wouldn't advise quitting without having a backup plan, especially for finances. Like, even if
you don't have the money, just finding out different backups like freelancing or like different ways you can bring in money passively while looking for a job. But yeah, I feel like that's a whole other video. But yeah, basically that's what I wanted to say. So yeah, let's get back to the video. Those are the tips, I guess. Sorry those are so random, but I guess those are the kind of like the main steps I made to make sure that I could quit. Like, I genuinely didn't know if things would work out, but I guess some of the steps that I took helped. And of course, being guided, like I said. And my battery's almost done, so I'm gonna wrap this up really quick. But thank you for watching this video. Like I said, if you guys have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I hope you gain clarity with any job stuff that you're trying to get. Like, I really genuinely believe like everything's gonna work out, okay? Like, everything always works out. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.